Welcome to the May 19th, 2025 Lower Makefield Zoning Hearing Board. So we have a full board tonight. How many members are we have voting tonight? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 voting members. So we're just going to go right into it. We're going to start with Appeal Z25-9, which is Miller-FAULKNER. If you could please come to the table, turn on your microphones, speak into your microphones. First, we're going to have you sworn in, then we'll have Adam read in the exhibits. Thank you.
Good evening, board members. My name is Erica Miller. I'm an attorney at Obermeyer. I'm here with FAULKNER, the owner of the property, and Ellen Kincannon-Happ, our architect. If I can have them sworn.
Ellen, you want to grab a chair and just pull up?
Oh, thank you. No problem. Okay, perfect. So,
Can you both raise your right hand? Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Can you state and spell your name?
Ellen.
You have to speak into the microphones. They have to be on, and you have to speak directly into them.
Ellen, E-L-L-E-N.
I'm not sure it's on.
Is there a green light? Is there a green light?
Now it's on. Did you get the first part? Concannon, C-O-N-C-A-N-N-O-N, Happ, H-A-P-P. Okay.
Faye, F-A-Y-E, Faulkner, F-A-U-L-K.
On again. Is it on? Okay.
All right. Ms. Miller, would you like to present your... Oh, I'm sorry. We do have to read the exhibit.
All right, so we're going to use Ms. Miller's preliminary exhibits. So A1 is the existing features and proposed addition plan by ASK4 Surveying dated February 27, 2025. A2, existing first floor plan by Ellen Kincannon-Happ dated March 26, 2024. A3, proposed plans dated January 28, 2025. A4, impervious calculations chart from the existing features and proposed addition plan dated February 27, 2025. A5, property deed recorded on March 1st, 2023. A6, recorded subdivision plans recorded June 24th, 1966. A7 is the application. A8 is the original one-sheet site plans that were submitted previously. A9 is the addendum attached to the application. B1, proof of publication. B2, proof of posting. And B3, notice to the neighbors.
Thanks, Adam. All right, floor is yours.
all right, great. Again, my name is Erica Miller. I'm an attorney at Obermeyer. I have Faye FAULKNER, the owner of 704 Briarwood Court. Faye purchased this property in 2023. It is within the R2 zoning district, and it currently is developed with a single-family, 2-story dwelling, a deck, a shed, and a driveway. We are here because Faye is proposing to expand her existing home with a 56 square foot expansion, removing a portion of her deck and then expanding off the back of her home. The purpose of this expansion is so that her mother, who is in the audience, can live with her and has access on the first floor. There's currently no bedrooms on the first floor, so this expansion allows for a relatively small but useful and accessible first floor bedroom. We are here because we are seeking 2 variances because this property is subject to an 18% impervious surface cover. It's existing non-conforming regarding impervious cover with a 22.5% existing non-conformity. This is because this property was subdivided and built in 1966. And at the time, it was built with already 22.5, or we believe already had the 22.5 non-conforming. This township's zoning ordinance only allows for 18% for buildings that are subdivided prior to 1987. It's a lot of numbers, so just stay with me, and I think a couple other applications have similar arguments tonight, so hopefully I can tee this up correctly. So 1987 is the cutoff date. This property was built in 66, subject to 18%. Thereafter, you can have up to 28% impervious coverage, so 10% difference. In this case, we are seeking 26.9, and within our plans that you can see at A1, we are proposing a stormwater management plan on site. So my understanding is that the 1987 allowing higher impervious coverage is because of the required stormwater management. We are taking care of any of those issues on site, and Ellen can explain that a little bit more in terms of what we are proposing. But that essentially allows for not even the full 28. So we're seeking 26.9, which in my opinion is a de minimis amount regarding, especially because we are proposing stormwater on site. So with that, I will turn my questioning over to Faye, who can explain property a little bit. So, hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Can you please identify yourself for the board?
My name is Faye Faulkner. I'm the owner of the property in question.
And you purchased the property when?
February 22nd of 2023.
Have you lived at the property for most of your time?
The whole time. We moved in that weekend.
All right, great. Could you describe your property and what you have, your home and what's already existing on site?
It's a single-family home. Currently, we have, it's regular single-family home.
And you have a deck off your back porch?
We have a deck and a screened-in porch.
Okay, great. And like I mentioned, this property is in this R2 zoning district and subject to an 18% impervious coverage, is that correct?
That is correct.
And could you please help me identify Exhibit A6? This is the subdivision plan. Could you tell me the date? Or the year at least?
I don't have my glasses, but I think it's 1966.
In the-
1966.
Okay, great. So that is what subjects you to the 18%, correct?
Okay. Correct.
Okay. And when you purchased this property, have you done any exterior additions or expansions since you purchased it?
No, I have not.
So thus saying you did not add or do anything to the existing non-conforming status?
Correct.
Okay, great. Switching lanes, have you spoken to your neighbors about this proposed expansion?
We have.
And what's the general feedback?
From the neighbors we have spoke to, they were in favor of it. They thought it would help with the property values in the neighborhood.
Okay, great. And then could you just walk us through why you need this expansion and the purpose of having this first floor bedroom?
First floor bedroom is for my mother, so she can continue to live with my husband and myself in the home. As she ages, she does not want to go to a facility, and so I just like to keep her in the home and on one floor.
And that's because your bedrooms are upstairs?
They're all upstairs, yes.
But your kitchen and some of your other features?
Kitchen, family room are on the main floor.
So this would allow her access into the building a lot easier, as well as into the kitchen and bathrooms?
Correct.
Okay, great. All right, that's all I have for Faye. I can open her up, or I can go right into Ellen and then open them both up to questions from the board.
Why don't we go right into Ellen?
Okay, great. All right.
Are we going to share this?
Oh, yeah.
All right, great. Hi, Ellen. Could you identify yourself for the board?
Ellen Concannon Happ. I'm a licensed architect in Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Have you testified before zoning hearing boards before in Bucks County?
Yes, I have.
Have you testified before this board in Bucks
I
County?
have not been before this board. I've been Doylestown Township, Abington Township in Montgomery County, Doylestown Borough, Rock Hill Township, maybe others, yeah.
And in all those places, have you been admitted previously as an expert?
Yes, I have.
So I'd move to admit Ellen as an expert in architecture and design.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great. So Ellen, your company has been retained to design the plans that we are here for tonight, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you've reviewed the Lower Makefield zoning ordinance and are familiar with the property in the neighborhood?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so could we walk through, maybe let's start with A1, and then we'll go on to 2 and 3.
Okay.
So A1 is our existing features on the left and our proposed on the right. This is slightly different than what was submitted with our application. It includes on-site stormwater management, like I mentioned. So Ellen, could you just walk us through what's existing and then what is proposed?
Okay, so the
Excuse me, real fast. Ellen, if it's easier, that microphone works. You can put it in your hand and you could literally go up to that screen if it's easier for you.
Sure, try that.
You will need to just turn it on after you get it out.
On? Now it's on. Okay. So this is showing just the proposed plan. Is there any way to move it over so we see the existing plan? Okay. So the main part of the house here, lightly shaded, the existing deck and the existing screen porch and associated steps, which we're proposing to remove. Okay, and then if we if we focus on the right-hand side of the drawing. Okay, we see again the existing house, the addition which contains the bedroom and bathroom and reworked laundry room on the first floor, new screen porch, steps from the existing family room area down to a small patio that accommodates a grill.
Okay, great. So this, because of the removal and then the addition, we're really only adding 4.4% impervious coverage. Is that correct?
We're, yes, 6%. We're increasing the impervious by 4.6%. We're adding a total of 756 square feet net new area.
Okay, great.
And do you want me to talk about the stormwater now?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're proposing is to manage all the impervious surface area greater than the allowable 18%. Not just what we're adding, but everything that would essentially take us back to 1966 when 18% was allowed. And if you want, I can walk through the calculations on how we size a stormwater management system like this.
So Dan, could you scroll down and to the left? There is a chart. That's patriotic.
Okay. So I guess you have a plan like this on your desk? Or?
Yes, this is A1.
Okay.
Going to the left. Oh, no.
Nothing on this for stormwater.
Excuse me?
Oh, is it the ones we submitted today?
I don't see anything on this plan for stormwater, so I'm not sure where you want me to scroll to.
Oh, it was a revised plan that was
Yeah,
sent later?
it's in A1 of your packet. That's the one I sent today. That's the impervious calculation. We also have a chart regarding stormwater management.
Yeah, that's not on the file. He's going off the digital file that we
Which is
had
what-
last week.
Okay, yeah, that's what we
Okay.
submitted with our original, and then we submitted
Yeah.
this change plan, so maybe it'd be best to just.
So I will say we're very familiar with these sheets here, and I'm pretty sure that Dan probably talked to you.
Okay. Well, so, but it's in front of you. At A1, there's a stormwater management chart, so Ellen can walk through that,
Okay.
old school.
Okay, so you have the chart. So you can see the total lot area is 17,175 square feet. The proposed total impervious for the new addition and the existing is 4,618. If we use the 18% impervious area, we would be allowed to have 3,092 square feet. So if we manage all the impervious area greater than the allowable 18, we manage 1,525 square feet. So we take the back roof watershed, all the water from the back of the existing and proposed additions, and we direct that water through the gutters and downspouts into an underground dry well. Do you want me to take you through how I size the dry well for 2 inches
Yeah,
rain
just
per hour?
run through the drywall dimensions, and then we'll
Okay.
ask Dan to verify them.
Okay, so using the calculation, the 1,579 square feet times 2 inches per hour, divide by 12 to get feet into inches, we get 263 cubic feet needed to hold all that water. Because the pit is full of stone, the void area is the allowable void area is only 0.4, or 40% of that area. So dividing by 0.4, we get a dry well size of 658 cubic feet. We make the pit 4 feet deep, and we choose to make it 8 feet wide by 20.5 feet long. And that's shown on, well, yeah, it's shown, is that the?
It's shown on the plan.
It's shown on the plan, and how the gutters are directed into that pit.
Okay, great. And then generally, in your opinion, would this property be able to be expanded without the requested variances here tonight?
We'd be able to do absolutely nothing, no expansion at all without a variance, since it's already non-conforming.
And in your opinion, is this room that we're building the minimum amount that would allow for a room that allows mobility within it?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay, great. And because of the code, the year, the funky year requirements, as well as the shape and size and topography of this property, do you believe that there's a hardship that allows for a variance?
I do.
Okay, great. And would the approval of these variances alter the essential character of this neighborhood?
I don't believe it would.
And in all other respects besides the requested variances, does this plan, is it comply with the zoning ordinance in the township?
Yes, it does.
And have all your opinions tonight been given in your capacity as an expert in the field of architecture?
Yes.
I think that's all we have.
Okay, thank you. Board, you'd like to ask questions?
I'll start with a technical question. Since you're connecting via roof leaders to the drainage there, do you have an adequate tributary area to reflect what you're trying to mitigate? Do you have enough roof square footage to equal the square footage you're offsetting? Because
Oh.
obviously, if you're using that, you're restricted by
Yes,
by that.
yes. The back roof watershed is 1,579, and the impervious area we're saying we're going to manage is 1,525. So we're, 50 square feet over that.
Okay. Dan, can we get an aerial of the neighborhood, just so we got a sense of what the neighborhood looks like?
Sure.
That's what I want.
I'll add to, in the back, I drove by today, these trees actually do provide quite a bit of coverage to the rear of this lot. When they're, in season, I think this photo was probably in the fall or winter.
Any additional questions from the board? Is there any public comment in the audience? Do we have any public comment online? It does not appear so, because the light is off. Before I put it to a vote, no more questions? Does somebody want to make a motion?
I move that we approve Appeal Z 25-9, Miller Faulkner, with the variances with the approval of the township engineer.
Second.
Discussion?
Just want to put,
What's that, Adam? Do you feel like we need to append the motion?
actually, I think in the application is that they're bringing it back down to 18, so that's fine.
Yes.
So, yeah, Judy, just address the actual existing, proposed, and effective, please, which is right on page 1.
I'm looking for, yeah, thank you. The existing is 22.5. They were going to raise it to 26.9, where 18 is the maximum, and they will ameliorate the problem back to the code of 18%.
Second, again.
Okay, thank you, Adam. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Okay, next up on the agenda is Appeal Z-25-15. Please come forward. That would be ABDUVORISOV. Before you're sworn in, you can come up before you're sworn in, and then we'll read the exhibits in. I want to let you know that the township solicitor is here on behalf of the township and will be a party to this matter. Okay, if you could sit down, make sure the microphone's on, and you will be sworn in.
Hello?
Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Can you state and spell your name?
First name Aziz, A-Z-I-Z. Last name ABDUVORISOV. That's ABDUVORISOV.
Okay, Adam, will you read the exhibits into record, please?
Sure, we have the less exhibits this time around. Application is A1, site plans is A2. B1, proof of publication, B2, proof of posting, and B3, notice to neighbors.
Okay, the floor is yours.
In February of 23, that's when I got the chickens. and then since then, I haven't had any issues besides, I think it was last year, 2 pit bulls, I don't know, nobody knows from where, came in and, ripped apart several of the chickens. That's the first issue we had. And then I think afterwards, a few weeks later, I did get a notice. Honestly speaking, I'm from Brooklyn, so I grew up in Brooklyn, so I didn't really know anything about this. And so I didn't really think much of it until recently, when I was called into the, I think, the court, or it was in,
Township engineer, code enforcement, maybe?
no, it was.
It was
like
code enforcement.
Huh?
I think our code enforcement cited the house, and then it was what, Court of Common Pleas, or?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
the,
okay.
yeah.
Is it local
No.
magistrate?
Magisterial district.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Morrisville.
Yes, yes, yes. And then that's when I think Mike or Michael, and then he, I don't know who it was, but basically from your side, somebody came, and that's when I met him, and then that's when he showed me the website, where to go and how to get it done. We moved in 21, and then that's when my son came over. That's when we had the second son, the third son, and then also my 2 nieces. We noticed that they're allergic to certain antibiotics and certain foods. And then slowly, we started recognizing which foods they're allowed to eat, which ones they're not allowed to eat. And one of the first, not one of the first, but one of the things we noticed is they can't eat store-bought eggs. I've tried the ones from the ones that are like range-free, hormone-free, stuff like that. It doesn't work. After a few days, they start getting red dots around the mouth. And if they continue eating, then it goes throughout the whole body. I go to an auction in New Jersey, and I bought eggs from them as well, but it turns out they still use some type of antibiotics in their chickens, and they're not allowed to eat that. The chickens I have, they're not, they don't have any antibiotics, so and no medications at all. And almost every day when I come home around 5, 6, I let them out for about an hour, 2, 3 hours. All they eat is and our food, the food that we eat, everything is made from scratch. So my wife and my brother's wife, my sister-in-law, they make everything from scratch. So we have a lot of scraps left over. So we utilize that, we give that to them, and so they eat basically all natural. The kids, when they eat the eggs, there's no reaction to the eggs at all. And 3 of my kids are like that, and one of my brother's daughters, they also have the same issue, where they just start, getting the dots all over the body. And so basically the reasons is for that. And the reason how we noticed that they're allowed to eat the eggs is when we went back to Uzbekistan in 22, my son was eating the eggs that my uncles, they have chickens overseas. And when they were eating the eggs, we thought, he's gonna have a reaction, but he never did. After 1 egg, we're watching nothing. A few days later, we keep giving it, and there's no reaction. Because all the chickens they have as well, it's all, it's all natural. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I was raised in Brooklyn, so I don't know how to raise chickens. So that I'm getting all the information from my uncle. But, yeah.
Is there anything else? All right, so why don't we open it up to the board, and then Maureen, you'll jump in when you feel appropriate. Does that sound good?
Can I ask how large a property this is?
It's 0.95 of an acre.
Okay, so not quite a full acre.
0.94 acres.
Yeah, the allowable is 5 acres.
That's what I know. I learned.
This might be a question for Dan, but the plat map here shows area restricted from development. What's that restriction?
We couldn't find any easements on the recorded plan for this. There was nothing really notated or any documents, so we aren't sure.
So it's not owned by the township, obviously?
No, if it was, there'd be some sort of easement or something like that.
Is it the homeowner's property, that big triangle?
This whole Triangle is their property. So if you look at my cursor,
Yep, yep.
and then all the way up there. Yep.
Mr. ABDUVORISOV, do you have any idea why part of your property is restricted?
I have no idea what that means. I don't know.
Nobody's been able to find whether it was a water issue or the township restricted it, or?
Now, I checked with the township engineer, Jim Majewski, or a township employee who's an engineer, and we couldn't find anything related to
Nothing
why
at
it
the
says
county level either,
No.
then? That's weird.
So
It's nice, but it's-
I do have a question.
Yes.
Why did you decide to put your chicken coop that close to the property line?
It's easier to see. First, we had it, do you see where it says area restricted? Yes, so basically around there, that's when we had it. But when it rains, there's a lot of rain that's left over, or like small puddle. So we brought it over to the side, and then I believe it's TMP 204955. That's where Buddy lives, and I've talked to Buddy, and I actually had at one time I had 6 roosters, and yeah, and I told Buddy, hey, I'm getting rid of it, and it was at a point where they just started clucking or crowing, sorry, crowing. And I told Buddy, hey, I'm actually going to get rid of it. You know, the roosters, I know they're going to start bothering you. And he actually said he doesn't mind them at all. He said, keep the chickens, keep the roosters, do not get rid of them.
How many roosters do you have now?
Only one. Yeah.
Only one.
Yeah.
Does he crow every day?
In the mornings, yeah. But I've talked to my neighbors, Mike, John, Robin, and like Gary. Mike, Robin, and Gary, they said they don't know. But Buddy and John, they say they don't mind at all. And John says his dog plays with the chickens sometimes when we let him out, so he doesn't mind.
So they're not the pit bulls?
Oh, no, it's a little, like the little
Shih Tzu?
Shih Tzu, yeah.
Yeah, they'll just play with them.
Pretty sure, Judy, don't you own pit bulls?
Me?
Judy, you?
Me? I have a Portuguese water dog and a poodle who chases groundhogs.
Yeah, thank you for answering my questions. Anyone else on the board have questions?
I want to understand these numbers. You have two coops.
Oh, yes.
In the first one, there's 12 chickens,
Right now, there's 11.
11? And does that include the rooster?
Yes.
And then the second one, it says 17 young birds?
Yes. So the reason for that is because the chickens, they're a year and a half to 2 years old. So I'll be getting rid of them. And these chicks, I don't know which ones are roosters or hens. So once they get of like egg laying age, or when they have the markings of being a rooster or whatnot, I'll get rid of these and then I'll keep the chicks. So just changing. As they get older, the new ones, I'll put them in.
So what does get rid of mean?
Get rid of is, I have friends in Philadelphia, a butcher in Philadelphia, and so he'll come and then he'll bring them with him, clean them up, and then he'll give them back to me, and then, yeah.
So basically, you're going to turn it into a food source?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the expected lifespan for the egg-laying chickens?
Honestly, I don't know. Like I said, when I talk to my uncle, he says usually that 2 years of age, that's when you could just start.
So you're already starting to groom your replacements?
Yes, basically.
And how many eggs a day do you get out of these chickens?
Out of them, I get about 6 to 8 a day. Yeah.
Maureen, I think the floor is yours.
The supervisors has sent me this evening, because this is a variance is truly not de minimis. The request is to have a large number of chickens, young birds, and a rooster on .94 acres where 5 acres is required under our ordinance. And secondarily, and really just as importantly, the side yard setbacks are violated both for the first and second coop. The second coop is only 5 feet from the side yard, and our ordinance states that any such accessory structure for livestock shall be 50 feet from any property line. So this is not a de minimis request or a request for a variance.
Quick question for you, Maureen.
Yes.
On that 5-acre minimum, is there a number of chickens that they're allowed on 5 acres?
It does not state, no, it does not state in this section of the ordinance. I can't,
It does for livestock. I can try to pull up. Let me.
I would think there has to
They have
be
livestock
a per
units.
acre requirement.
I think there's 15.
Is it for livestock and for chicken? Chickens?
Yeah, so I do believe he's under the number that is allowable for livestock, but let me just double check what the code is. I'm sorry, let me turn this off.
While he's checking, because this is more legal, if the area is restricted from development, how do we find out, A, who owns it, and B, would it be possible for the chickens to be there? Because that's a large, looks like a pretty large area.
It's actually
think
owned
from
by the applicant.
My legal answer is I believe that this is all owned by them because this is by the applicant, because this
Okay.
area restricted is incorporated into the .94 acres.
Okay, it is incorporated in it.
Yes.
Thank
As
you.
far as why it's restricted, I would guess that it may be on a deed, or if we did a full search on the
We'd
property,
find
like a
it.
title search, there should be something recorded as to why it is
Yeah,
restricted.
just, it's kind of strange.
Could it be something with the church that isn't the one property line owned by the church? The St. John's Evangelical Lutheran Church, isn't that who it backs up to?
So anything beyond that is owned by the church to the left.
Yeah.
It could be, but it would be odd for a neighbor to have a restriction on your property. It would, usually the restriction would be on their own property, not for a property owned by another.
Dan commented on this earlier about the restriction.
No, I said we couldn't.
They-
We couldn't locate why why it says area restricted from development. We were looking for easements and we couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I'm guessing that, if we did a thorough search, like you would a title search for anybody who's purchasing property, it might come up, or it may be in the deed itself. The deed was not attached to the application, so I did not see what the restriction was.
Oh, and also for context, he's just under the amount. So the ordinance says 30 birds or poultry is 1 livestock unit, and he has 29, so he's good there. So didn't need a variance for that.
But that's for
For
5 acres.
That's for 5 acres.
Correct. I'm answering the question about how many chickens are allowable.
All right. Maureen, anything else?
No, it just is, I know this has been before you a number of times. Just, the supervisors just is hesitant to allow something like this for this large number of poultry, livestock, on such a small acreage
So,
within the township.
so when Ms. Carlton says in front of us numerous times, she's not talking about your particular matter, other matters.
Okay.
You're not the only chicken owner in the township, so I don't want you getting a big head. There are others out there like you. All right, so do we have any public comment in the room? Come up in an orderly manner, and you're going to be sworn in. Go to the podium and make sure the microphone's on and speak into the microphone.
Good evening, Derek Cohen, DEREK, COHEN.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I live at 482 Prince William Court, which is directly next door. And I think just to address one issue that seems to be in question, it is part of the deed. This is an area, a subdivision called the Sanctuary, that is deeded in to, was basically, as I understand it, all wooded areas. At one point might have even been an arboretum. So you're prohibited from doing anything back there. And part of the issue that we've had during the course of this is, in order to accommodate this, there's been a tremendous removal of trees in the backyard, and not professionally, they've just been taking down the trees. Just to put a little bit, and I have a copy of the subdivision. We can mark if we need to, but that's the answer to that mystery. You're deeded, so you're not supposed to be doing any development back there whatsoever. And just to give you all a little bit of history, last fall we had an incident that the applicant referred to, where we had a chicken massacre on Prince William Court. Feathers everywhere, live chickens, dead chickens, so forth. At that time, my understanding is the LMT police and the animal control officer informed the applicant that he can't have chickens. Rather than get rid of the chickens, he built a different coop and moved a bunch of trees, put up another coop in the middle of the backyard. We hear them every day. It is a nuisance. It is a problem. I note that both in his certified application and tonight under oath, he said that he spoke to his neighbors, including my wife, about whether we agreed to it. We did not. You did not speak to my wife. In fact, since last December, I've been in touch with township officials about this. First with the animal control officer on December 14th because of the noise and because I had understood, and we didn't want to have another incident with another chicken massacre on our block. I was referred at that time to Mr. Kirk, I guess the code enforcement officer, on December 14th. He asked for photographic evidence. I provided it to him. I then understood that, and along with that, I expressed my concern that this was a development area, and they're removing trees and they're putting things up in the backyard where they shouldn't be. On January 2nd, I followed up with Mr. Kirk and was informed that a formal notice of violation had been provided and that they had 30 days to remove the structure or seek a variance, and he told me that he would keep me posted. On January 23rd, 2025, I had another email exchange with Mr. Kirk in which I continued to express concern about the noise from the rooster, and he had told me, Mr. Kirk informed me that there had been no response from the applicant at that time. On January 31st, 2025, Mr. Kirk informed me that he had filed a court citation against the owners. And on May 10th, 2025, I reached out to Mr. Kirk and was informed that there was a court date of May 26. Prior to the court date and before receiving any variance, the applicant then made another move and moved a more permanent structure closer to the property line. On April 23rd, 2025, I sent Mr. Kirk photos of this new structure and was informed that on or about March 26th, the applicant had now applied for the first time for a variance and that the court hearing would be postponed pending the decision of this board. So I received then a copy of the application and was surprised to hear him certify that he had spoken to us and that we had no problem. We clearly have a problem with it. We've been repeatedly in touch with the township. In addition, as recently as this weekend, he's been letting the chickens just out. So on Saturday, chickens were just in the backyard. So there's a reason why we have an ordinance like this. I too moved here from Brooklyn 20 years ago, and I can understand that maybe it feels a little more rural, but this is not a place for 30 chickens to be had. There's a reason we don't do that. There's a reason we have this ordinance. It's a nuisance to be the neighbor. There's also health concerns that go along with this. There are flus, there's so forth. Having the chickens roam freely also attracts other predators and so forth. We have pets and so forth there. I don't know what's true or not true on the application beyond what he represented about speaking to the neighbors. But if there is in fact a health issue, that's not a zoning issue. It doesn't create any basis under the law for a variance. Here you've got two major violations. One, having the poultry to begin with when it's less than 5 acres, and also in a development zone. So in closing, there's nothing unique about this property that would qualify for a variance. The only thing that is arguably unique, if you take it at face value, and given some of the other representations in the certification, I'm not sure you can take it as face value, is that he would like to have it for his convenience. That's not a basis for a variance under the law. And I respectfully ask the board to reject the application.
Thank you.
Um,
Will the next person please come forward?
Is that map current?
Before,
The line, the
Excuse
property
me.
line?
yeah, before we start, we need you to introduce yourself, spell your name, and then be sworn in, please.
I'm new at this. Rich Bowen, R-I-C-H-B-O-W-E-N.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Absolutely.
So this is the 2025 aerial imagery from the Bucks County Planning Commission, so it's sometime from now to, but between January 2025 to now, so it's
All right.
within the past 4 months.
I stand here in front of you representing St. John's Lutheran Church. And as the gentleman before me just spoke, we were not informed until we got the letter expressing the variance. We did have the property surveyed. Most of that wooded area,
You're going to have,
this whole area right here.
take the microphone with you.
You can't hear me? Oh, they can't hear me. Yes, sir, sorry. Now I lost it. This whole area down in here, this triangle, belongs to the church. It's landlocked. That could be why it has that restriction on it. It could be a reason. So yes, there is no way to get to it from any of the streets. We have not built on it. We have intentions in the future of perhaps making a sanctuarial type walk through that, like a nature a walk. And yes, we are concerned about the chickens. And every Sunday when I get there, I can hear the rooster in the back. And it is very close to our property line. We do have children, not necessarily from our congregation, but from a sister congregation that uses the facilities. And they're running around. We're concerned about the waste. Where is that going? We have already approached the landowner about putting bushes and other waste on our property, and we do have pictures if anybody needs to see that. And we did approach our neighbors about that. So we are not looking forward to this at all. If it requires 5 acres, it requires 5 acres, not less than 1. And I understand your concern about the eggs. And in this area, there's got to be someone who makes eggs that your children can eat. But yeah, we are not for this variance at all. So we ask that you do not agree to it. And I thank you.
Thank you. Any additional public comment in the room? The light is not on. Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion?
Can I comment?
Are we going to have any discussion before?
Before we do that, you want to have discussion now? Yeah. All right.
Look,
So,
I
go ahead. What do you have, Judy?
can be honest that I'm in sympathy because I have allergies, but when I first saw this, if it was 2 chickens, 3 chickens, I might have been more amenable. I've had chickens, ducks. They make noise. They make a
No,
mess, and they do attract predators. I know the area. My daughter lives in the little cul-de-sac, like next to it off of Norway. She lives on Green Hill.
Okay.
That area it was a sanctuary, and from what I understand, it was at one point an arboretum. So that is part of the restriction. I had to think for a minute. But I have to tell you, I'm concerned. I know roosters make noise. I've had one, not long. And we do have an ordinance, and I think it is the township's responsibility to stick with our ordinances and to, let people know when something is against the ordinance, they have to make that change. It's not that I have anything against chickens.
Just the first guy that came up, I forgot.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Mr.
His name was
Cohen.
Mr. Cohen?
Oh, Mr. Cohen. To his comment is, so I've talked to, like I said, the neighbors, like John, Buddy, and Mike, the guy with the pool. And I've spoken to his wife and seen his wife several times, in the mornings wave hello. Specifically with Mike, Buddy, and John, I've specifically told them, hey, if it bothers you, just let me know and I will remove them and I'll find other options. Robin has never expressed anything about the chickens. She's never said anything. And
Well,
in the
I
mornings,
just, the only thing is that we do have ordinances. We
No,
have
that's- yeah, yeah,
ordinances for
100%, yeah.
reasons. And if, it's just, the ordinance does have definite reasons, and it is a noise issue. It is also an issue of predators, especially in this area now, that as it's been more developed, predators have fewer places to go, fox, et cetera.
Yeah. No,
And
yeah.
it's just, I know, I am in sympathy with your problem. I do know some people here in the township on large properties that do have eggs, and they don't use antibiotics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying it because I didn't, if she would have told me, I would have gotten rid of them, is what I'm trying to say. I just didn't know.
Look, I mean, here's my 2 cents. So all of us are individuals up here. We don't discuss these matters except up here. So this is where it gets discussed.
Right.
So right off the bat, right, you're supposed to have 5 acres. You're so far under 5 acres.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you my point of view, right? You're way under. Now we have neighbors coming up. They don't like it.
100%, yeah.
There's no way you're getting my vote.
No, that's fine, yeah, no.
And
'cause
I'm sorry to
I
tell you
understand
that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. If,
anyone else have any comments they want to make? All right, does someone want to make a motion?
Make a motion to deny Appeal Z-25-15.
Second.
Discussion.
I don't think there's any.
I think,
yeah, no, that's fine.
Here's the deal. You're one of many people who've been denied for this. So it's pretty standard, and we can't start setting a precedent where just we arbitrarily grant it for you. Does that make sense?
No, I get it.
So thanks for participating in this and coming in front of us. So that's my part of the discussion. So all those in favor of supporting the opposed vote?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous.
I have a question. Something else.
We just actually made the motion, but go ahead. What's your question?
On the property, I have a lot of trees. I forget. his
Mr.
name.
Cohen?
Mr. Cohen. He said something about chopping down the trees. In a few weeks, when the ground dries up,
We're the zoning board. We don't have governance over what you're about to ask me, what you can and can't cut.
Oh,
I think what you need to do is go to code enforcement and ask them. And that's probably a really good decision, since you do have neighbors who are paying attention, and it is a restricted area. So I would definitely make an appointment, come in, meet with code enforcement, and run by what you want to do. But as a zoning board, we talk about ordinance, and we talk about zoning ordinance. We don't talk about other things that fall under code enforcement.
and they're here.
So Mike Kirk, the gentleman you've been dealing with, the code enforcement officer, he can answer any questions you have. No, he's an employee for the township. He's not here today.
Oh, okay.
But I'm assuming you've dealt with him at some point when you were in magisterial court or something?
Yeah, at one time, yeah.
Yeah, so he's a really nice guy. Just
Yeah.
come in the office and he can answer any questions you have.
Yeah, you're going to be able to get them during
He's an employee for the
normal
township.
business hours.
He sits right there across the hall.
Okay.
So yeah, you can just come in. We're open from 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday.
Okay, no problem. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
How long do I have to?
Yeah, can I make two quick, the
Yeah.
question was, how long, I think it should be told to the applicant how long he has to bring the property into compliance?
That's a great question, Adam. We're going to need you to weigh in on this.
Well, because it's a denial, we will have a findings of fact within 45 days from tonight to issue that. It'll be probably a few weeks earlier than that. And then from there, you technically have 30 days to appeal if you choose to appeal. If you don't, then probably within 30 days of that, once the appeal period ends, that it would have to be gone. So whenever that findings of fact gets issued, and you'll get a copy of it. You have 30 days from then to have everything buttoned up and out of there. So probably a couple months, give or take.
Okay. All right.
Again, if you have questions, call code enforcement, call Dan, right? So, because what you don't want to do is miss the fact that the findings of fact got mailed to your house and somehow you missed it, right? You don't want to be in violation of more stuff, so.
No, 100%. It will probably take me like 5 days. Yeah.
And Dan loves getting calls from residents, so don't worry about bothering him.
Okay.
And I would just say to the applicant and to the second gentleman who spoke, it's very confusing to me that this area of restriction that is shown on the property, the gentleman from St. John's Lutheran Church stated that it was church property. It doesn't really make any sense to me that it's church property if it's shown as part of the applicant's property. So I think it would behoove both parties to find out whose property it is, and do a search and
Wait, so
react accordingly.
that triangle is.
Hold on, we're not taking questions on this, guys. This is
Yeah.
outside our
Right.
governance.
This is just a
her
note.
being friendly.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Try to figure out which property is yours.
Thank you.
That was a great suggestion. All right, next on the agenda is Appeal Z2516. CAPOZZOLA, please come forward. You know, if I was going to guess, I had you pegged as CAPOZZOLA.
Yeah, I get that. Hi, Dominic CAPOZZOLA. Should I spell it for you? Yep, DOMINICKCAPOZZOLA.
Can you raise your right hand?
Yep.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, let me mark a few things. We have the application as A1, site plans as A2, the shed rendering / specs as A3, impervious surface breakdown and the stormwater small project volume control collectively as A4, B1, proof of publication, B2, proof of posting, and B3, notice to the neighbors.
You have the floor.
Okay, good evening. This one is probably going to be much less controversial than the last one. I'm just looking to install a 12 by 24 shed in the back of our yard. It will be opposite a shed that my back neighbor has. It's going to lead to a de minimis increase in impervious surface of under 2%. I'm prepared to mitigate that with, I believe, under the spreadsheet that you have on your website, I needed to put in 6 evergreen trees, which I'm happy to do. And I know my application had a couple paragraphs where I sort of spelled out, I guess I know there's different requirements about it doesn't change the neighborhood. I'm prepared to just defer to that and rest on that. If you've seen it, I can read it into the record if you'd like me to read it into the record. I don't know, this seems like a pretty easy one, but maybe I'm getting ahead of myself.
Should I talk about the evergreens? But yes, I love the idea, but they are not a permanent solution to the water. Believe me, I know. Trees just unfortunately don't live forever. They're not sequoias. And the next person may not like them and cut them down, so that we can't use the trees as a mitigation for the water.
Okay, I'd substitute an infiltration ditch if that's what
Yeah.
you'd like to do. I was looking at that option as well.
That works better.
You could do both, and then the board will be very happy.
I would be very, because I like the trees. I mean,
A small one would suffice too. 2 by 4 by 15 would work.
So to your point, this is pretty
that-
simple, but.
That's just for the additional area, correct?
Correct.
So that's what I wanted to ask. So are we mitigating back to 26.6 or are we mitigating back to 18%?
I think just in light of it being a small shed, I think mitigating it back to 26.6 would be fine. It would be much more expensive and a much bigger infiltration trench to bring it back to 18%. But I don't make the decisions, so.
So before we get into that discussion, does anyone have any additional questions for Mr. Capozzola before I ask for public comment? And then we'll revisit that point.
Did we get in our packet, was this the one we got a rendering of what the shed looks like? It's not a container, right?
Correct.
Correct. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
marked as
Question.
A3, and they had a whole bunch of renderings.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm not building it myself. I'm buying it from a place in Bristol.
Yeah, so. All right, why don't we see if there's any public comment in the room? And the light is off, so let's go back to that discussion. So, anyway, I mean, personally, I'm fine mitigating back to 26.6, what it is now. How does everybody else on the board feel about that?
Well, we've typically used 1% in the past as the mark for the difference, and I do understand that mitigating back to 18% would be a lot of effort. But what about doing the trees and the infiltration trench,
Yeah, I think it's good.
and then that as a solution to that?
Works.
So do you understand what we're talking about? Often, like in the first case, similar to you, they needed to mitigate all the way back to the 18%, same zoning district. So that infiltration ditch is going to cost you a lot more money. So rather than do that, how about we go with the 5 trees you proposed, and then an infiltration ditch that mitigates back to 26.6. How's that sound? Does that work for you?
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to get a sense for how much, I don't know how much trees cost. I don't know if anyone has a ballpark.
I have
Is it
no
in the low
idea.
hundreds or?
Great question. I was thinking that in my head.
I would look online, to be honest with you. I haven't bought.
This is why we have Ms. Carlton here.
How big?
Yeah, it really depends on the size. You can get a,
Size and
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it has-
type. You can get trees for $100, you can get trees for a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, I mean, we're not asking you to plant
Yeah, that's
big,
right.
tall,
Costco
mature
does.
trees, right? So,
Okay.
But Garden Center in Feasterville had them 10 for $179.
Hmm.
So I got my mom for mother.
Okay. Okay, I would do that.
you would think that sounds good? So everybody hear that? Mr. Capozzola is in favor of doing what Mr. Solor suggested, which is plant the 5 trees. It was 5, right?
It was 6, I believe.
Oh, we're gonna go with 6 then. We're going with 6.
Okay.
We're gonna do the 6 trees, and we're gonna do an infiltration bed to mitigate back to an effective of 26.6. So that's what we discussed. Does someone want to make a motion that speaks to that?
It was 2 by 4 by 15?
Yes. The engineer, by the way, will approve, they're gonna have to approve it, so they're not gonna let you put something in too small, is my point.
Thank you.
make a motion to approve Appeal Z 25-16, mitigating the impervious surface from 28.3 to 26.6% using an infiltration system to the satisfaction of the township engineer, and in addition, plant 6 trees per the online guidance.
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Fine.
All right, have fun with your shed.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Let me see. I know. So, well, we're going to stay with the agenda, unfortunately. All right, next up on our agenda is Z 2517, That's Exact Solar and ABT. Please come forward.
Good evening.
All right. Go ahead.
Can you raise your right hand?
Yes.
Can you, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Christopher, Christopher, Apt Alpha Bravo Tango.
I'll mark the exhibits. We have the application as A1, site plans, which I believe there are maybe 7 sheets, A2, and then the letter in support, which outlines the requested relief that's signed by a number of the neighbors. That's A3, B1, proof of publication, B2, proof of posting, and B3, notice to the neighbors. And the township is participating and opposing on this one as well.
So you understand what Mr. Flagger just told you, the township is participating in this matter.
Great.
All right.
Thank you for the help.
You have the floor.
Sure. Good evening. Thank you for the assistance with this. We're requesting a variance in order to install a ground mount solar array approximately 8 feet beyond the front of our house. In order to mitigate that, we will install a privacy fence so that it can't be visible from the street. And in order to address any water runoff issues, we are going to install a 4-inch stone bed in order to minimize any issues there from water runoff. We have addressed any concerns with the neighbors, anybody who has visibility on our property. We've gone around, we've shown them the design. Everyone is in favor of that approach, and they've provided their signatures to you all. And we would just like your support or guidance on what we could do to make this ground mount possible. Thank you.
Thank you for being concise. Board?
All right, a couple of questions, but first up, a technical one here regarding your application. You're noting of installing a privacy fence that's 6 foot high that extends in front of the house, which requires a variance too. So at this point, the fence would not be approved.
Understood.
Because it's not part of the variance request.
Okay. I apologize for that. I thought the solar company had addressed that, so we'll have to take that up separately. Understood.
So I'm just putting that out there.
So to Pete's point, you don't necessarily have to take it up separately. He is going to have to re-advertise, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
We could continue this matter and re-advertise it, but it would save you the application fee, or we can render a decision on.
Completely defer to your expertise on this. It's my first time.
I mean, I think you're better off continuing it.
Okay.
And saving the money on the application.
Okay,
You know,
understood.
again, you do have to re-advertise.
Okay.
So just to be clear, a 6-foot fence you need a variance because it's extending it's into the front yard.
Correct. Okay, understood.
Normally, it would be at the furthest point of the improvement, i.e. the house. And it could be at that point and running, and at that point, you would not need a variance, but you're pushing past the front of the house. That's
Understood.
where you need a variance.
Just throwing it out there, would you be willing to push it back a little bit so that you could get around it and do a side? So the max height for a side yard fence is 7 feet tall.
Okay.
So if it was in your side yard, if you pushed it back a little bit, you could avoid getting a variance for a 6-foot fence where 3 foot's allowable in the front yard.
Would
And
would
so-
that would
Yeah,
that
so-
eliminate the other request, though? Because
It would.
Doesn't he need the variance because it's in the front yard?
Correct, you would eliminate both variance requests, but to the point, there's no guarantee that we'll give you the fence. The fence would come separately, so you would end up with the fence or with the array not fenced. Or you
yeah.
could push it back.
Yeah, look, let's just talk common sense. Is there room to push this back?
There is. I'm just trying to maximize the amount of area in the back for the kids to play and the dog to play.
So what I can tell you is we just had I wouldn't call it contentious, but we had a very persistent applicant who came in front of us 4 times over and over for the same matter, which is trying to get a privacy fence 6 foot in the front of his property. And he did not get what he wanted.
Okay.
He didn't get 5 foot, he didn't get 4 foot, he got bupkis. And that was just like maybe a month ago. So I'm communicating that because there was just precedent for that. And you might want to think about that. You might want to Think about it. You don't have to think, you can request a continuance if you want. It's up to you, but, you know, what I can tell you is it didn't go well. It wasn't unanimous, but it was close to unanimous.
Okay. No, I defer to your expertise on this. I mean, I'm definitely flexible to push it back and, you know, obfuscate the need for either of these, but it's fine. If we can't get approved for it, I can just withdraw the request and that'll be it.
I'm not saying you're not going to get approved for it, right?
Okay.
What I'm saying is, though, there is historic precedent.
Understood.
But you can, if you're taking the continuance, you can take the time with the engineer, or whoever you're working with, see if it can be moved. Maybe it can be moved entirely to the side or rear, or at the very least can be maybe less intrusive into the front yard. Maybe instead of 8 feet, it's 2 feet, something like that. And then also, Chair is letting you know that the board's not crazy about tall fences in the front yard.
Understood. No, thank you for the
take
guidance.
that and kind of see what you want to do. But if you do want it re-advertised, because you're still going to need a front yard fence.
I think at this point, we'll just push it back 8 feet and just call it a day and not bother you guys again.
Well, it doesn't cost anything for a continuance. And, I mean, you could go online, you could read the minutes of those matters, and it's up to you.
Okay.
There's a reason Ms. Carlton's sitting here, and it just wasn't chickens.
So the continuance just keeps your options open.
Okay,
You
then
could decide.
we'll do a
to-
continuance for now, but thank you for the guidance.
Is it fair to ask a couple of simple questions of them?
Absolutely, we have them in front of us.
Were these solar panels on your roof already?
They were. Basically, we weren't getting the generation that we had expected, and then I had spoken to our realtor, and in his opinion, it'd be more difficult to sell the house with the solar panels, just due to the aesthetics of it, which is why we'd like to put them on the ground and keep them kind of off to the side and more hidden. Correct.
And them being on the ground doesn't change the aesthetics for resale?
Well, no, because at that point, it would be behind the fence, so it wouldn't be visible from the front of the house, and the generation would be significantly more because they're oriented
It
to
would be completely facing south.
southwest.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So obviously, you can't, your house is situated where it's on the panels would be on the front, not the back
Correct.
of the house.
In
I
the
understand.
picture you'd see, we started off with it everywhere, and so we removed them and wanted to put them on the ground.
Yeah. So, Dan, in order to do enough time on this, there's not enough for June 3rd. I think we have a meeting June 17th as well.
Yeah, the ad's due Friday for June 17th, so we could probably squeeze him on for June 17th.
But it would be this Friday that he would,
Yeah, we would need to know I would need to know by like Thursday at the latest,
okay,
because the ad's due Friday afternoon.
got it. Is that okay? You would have to.
That's fine
you
for
would
now.
have to find
I'll have
out
a
this
decision
week
before then,
As
yeah.
far as the decision, and then if that's the case, it could be advertised for the June 17th meeting. So
Understood.
it gives you about a month. It gives you a few days to figure out the plan and then a month to fine tune.
We'll have a decision in the next day.
Okay, that sounds good. So then we would continue it to June 17th.
Can I also interject once again? I apologize. I would just ask the applicant to have either your solar company or yourself just double check the ordinance, because it's not, how I'm reading it, it's not just pushing it back 8 feet, because I think you're 8 feet beyond the front of the house. It states accessory buildings or structures are only permitted in the side and/or rear yards behind the median line of the residential dwelling.
Okay, so you
that
still
would
might
mean-
need to do a variance, but you might alleviate the need for the fence variance if you
Correct.
pushed it back
Thank you for
flush
that
to the
guidance,
front of the
ma'am.
house.
And, yeah.
So I just double check, so.
So should we still re-advertise for the fence just in case, or?
Yeah,
I'll
I think
reattach
it's
the
always
solar
better to advertise
panels.
for too much than too little.
Yeah, but either way, the applicant will, I guess, confer with the solar company and whatever engineer,
It's either
construction
solar-
company,
either
figure
it's gonna
out
be-
where you could put it that
Yeah.
still works for you guys. Let Dan know, and then
Right.
we'll know exactly how to word the advertisement.
Okay, understood.
It's either going to be solar array or solar array and fence.
All right, will someone make a motion to continue?
I'll do that. Motion to take Appeal Z 25-17 and grant it a continuance to June the 17th.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you for your help.
Pete, did you make a solar joke? Pete? Yeah.
He's heard that one before.
All right. Next up, Appeal Z 2519, Karpinski, please come forward.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Can you state and spell your name?
Ben Karpinski, BenKarpinski.
Are we picking that up on the microphone? Yep, looks like we are. All right, you have the floor.
Thank you for the opportunity to present my request for a variance. I'm here to request approval for a small pre-built shed that technically exceeds the 18% impervious surface limit. The irony is that I need this variance to better address stormwater management and improve environmental health of my property. The shed is essential for storing tools and equipment needed to expand our garden, plant new trees, incorporate more native plants. Specifically, my wife and I were planning to plant 6 to 10 arborvitae trees behind the shed for privacy and additional green coverage. We're also creating a rain garden that includes native species such as cardinal flower, swamp milkweed, New England aster, common boneset, button bushes, Joe Pye weed, goat's beard, and blue cardinal flower. These efforts are aimed at improving water absorption, reducing runoff, preventing erosion, and enhancing the overall health of the land. By increasing the vegetation and tree coverage, I am directly working to mitigate stormwater impact, something that the impervious surface limits are meant to address. The tools stored in the shed will allow me to maintain these improvements long-term, ensuring their effectiveness. I respectfully ask for your approval so I can proceed with the plans that will benefit both my property and the surrounding community. Thank you for your consideration.
Boy, it sounds familiar, right?
I do have a question here in the rain garden. I don't see a calculation for the offset volume for it because you would have a depth area, what your infiltration media is, and the rest. What's the calculation, or did you work that out with Dan?
So the calculations that I provided were specifically for the trees alone. I didn't incorporate the rain garden. That's something extra that we were.
Well, the rain garden's a fixed feature. If you remember what Judy was talking about earlier, trees will disappear, die.
And so I'm also willing to do an infiltration trench as well as.
Well, the rain garden is that.
So we have done a rain garden in the past. There was a couple.
We got a couple.
They got a patio. I actually just recorded an O&M agreement for it. They got a rain garden, and it was for something much larger. I think it was a much larger patio compared to a small shed. So I think a rain garden would be more than fine.
Excuse me, guys. Adam, will you please mark the exhibits?
Sure. Application A1, site plans A2, pervious surface A3, letter in support A4, B1 proof of publication, B2 proof of posting, and B3 notice the neighbors.
Okay, so you picking up where these guys are going? Like, we could substitute your rain garden for an infiltration
Okay.
system. So, suggestions? What's this look like?
I thought we were fine with the rain garden.
That's what I'm saying, though, in terms of speccing it.
There's a volume calculation for it.
Yeah, we could easily work with them to find it out.
You understand? So what we're saying is rather than, if we make a motion to pass, we'll include the rain garden and then based on engineer approval.
Okay.
That makes sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. Questions?
I don't see a dimension. It may be there, but it's under the green dots of the shed from the property line.
Yeah, I don't think I put that on.
Oh, yeah, so it would just need to be 5 feet from the property line.
Yeah, it'll be.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Any public comment in the room? The light is not on, so
Can we
nobody's
also
online.
confirm that it's not, I mean, each time, guys, you know, just say it. Not a,
It's not a storage shed.
thank you. Well, it's not a.
A shipping container.
Not a shipping container.
Yep.
That would be a very, very
Just-
small shipping container.
Listen, they, you know, I'm going to be.
Look, we all have our specialties. We got a fence guy up here, and we got shipping container lady.
Listen, I've seen some beautiful homes entirely built out of shipping containers.
That may be a true statement, but I've not seen a beautiful
I have not.
shipping
either.
container shed. at
I
this point in
have
my
to
life.
tell you, if it didn't happen, I would never have believed it, to be honest.
Okay. Any additional questions for our applicant? I'll ask for a motion.
Make a motion to approve Appeal Z 25-19, utilizing the rain garden to offset the increased impervious area to the satisfaction of the township engineer.
Do you want to mention mitigating it back to 26%?
That from the increase from 26 to 26.9, offset back to 26.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Good luck. All right, well, I'm sorry, but we're out of time, so we're going to have to reschedule. I'm just kidding. Come on forward. Whoever got stuck being last, Z2520, Letterman SCHEER, please come forward.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Microphone.
You do have to talk into the microphone.
Sorry. Jonathan, Jonathan, last name Scheer, Scheer.
Wyatt Miller in place of Ryan Letterman, Wyatt, last name Miller.
Adam, would you like to mark the exhibits?
I would. We have the application as A1, one-sheet site plans as A2, the renderings as A3, the impervious surface breakdown and small project volume control collectively as A4. B1, proof of publication, B2, proof of posting, B3, notice to neighbors. And I'll just note that the Scheers are my neighbors, live across the street. They're great neighbors. I have no opposition to this project. They're great neighbors, and the project is A-okay with me. So just putting that on the record.
Okay, let's get a motion.
You really want to go home, don't you?
So the floor is yours.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing us to come and speak in front of you tonight. The proposed project is a 540 square foot covered patio. This is increasing the existing concrete patio out there by 108 square feet. We are growing what is already out there by 6 foot wide and 18 foot long. The infiltration trench design that we have here to mitigate stormwater runoff is 3 foot by 15 foot by 3 foot deep. And we are more than willing to modify that if need be. That is all I have.
What are you mitigating back to? An effective?
We are growing.
You're going from 26.6 to 28.1, and
26.6.
you're going to mitigate back to 20. Okay.
Correct, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's more than that. I think you're doing.
It may actually be a bit more, yes. It's 135.
Yeah. So 45 cubic feet's required. They're doing 135 cubic feet.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like 4 times, or not 4, like 3 times what's required. Sorry.
3 times. So that would be an effective.
Yeah. What's the actual effective?
Roughly 23%, 23.8.
23.6.
I'm glad you guys do math that fast. Or at least know the formulas. If I knew the formula, I could do that.
All right. Mr. Scheer, would you like to say anything, or we just handing this over?
Well, I mean,
To the higher con.
nothing more than what was already said. I'm just trying to improve my home appearance. As Adam said, being a neighbor of mine, I'm constantly trying to make our house a more beautiful home, considering where we live. I take great pride in living in Lower Makefield Township. I'm constantly doing things to make it look nicer. I just renovated the front lawn, trying to keep things beautiful as our township should be.
All right. Does anyone on the board have any questions for either person? I feel like this is like Groundhog Day. We've had this 3 times today.
We still have somebody in public sitting in the audience.
I aware. Public comment, you just want to come up, get your name in the minutes?
There's an alternate for you.
It's better than rerun television.
Susan, you want to ask if the covered patio has anything to do with shipping containers?
No, I thought maybe you could improve the quality of your neighborhood by making Adam leave, but it's late.
I just got here.
They promised new chickens. They promised new chickens.
All right, so we got no chickens on the record. Okay, so we have nobody online. Any additional questions, people? Would someone like to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve Appeal Z25-20, which was increasing the impervious surface from 26.6% to 28.1%. Will be mitigated back to 23.6%, utilizing infiltration to the subject to satisfaction of the township engineer.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations. Enjoy your patio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. When can we start work? I did not want to touch anything until approval.
That would be Dan.
So yeah, you already filed the permit. You might just need to show the infiltration trench on the plan, and then we can.
This was submitted.
Okay.
I have that attached to.
Yeah, if on the site plan, if you don't mind. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. No problem. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Question. Could we demolish the existing concrete patio while we get this submitted?
Yeah, I think I spoke to, I think it was Wyatt or someone.
We spoke.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You did already give us
Yeah,
permission? I just
yeah.
looked at the
No, you're fine.
I will not do anything without approval.
I spoke to the code enforcement officer, and yes, you can do that. No problem.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you. Okay. Do we have any business we need to discuss? And we have anything on the upcoming agendas that we should talk about tonight?
Yeah, I mean, there was one day where 3 variances were filed.
Okay.
They're all kind of big ones. One is for.
Yeah, I know.
One's for a subdivision on Sutphin Road. The request of relief isn't that much, though. It's just like the lot size. The other one is for a house on River Road that's in a floodplain. And then the other one is for Knesset Hessefer, which I think is mainly to do with impervious surface. But just trying to be courteous, I'm trying to scatter them out so they're not on too many meetings and stuff.
We have
So-
2 in June, 2 meetings in June.
2 meetings in June, and then currently only one scheduled for July as of now. It'll be July 1st. We had to have that meeting just to meet the 60-day requirement for the big one.
Okay.
And June 17th, is it still just the one?
We had to add 2 more, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just because there's been a lot that have come in. Don't kill the messenger.
No. I just, so that we can hopefully get rid of those quickly, and then we'll have the rest of the meeting.
Yeah, the rest will be for you, Mansky. I don't think it'll be too long.
Okay, got it.
Plus the one continuance, maybe. 17th.
If it happens, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so there's the June 3rd meeting. It'll be big as well. I think there's 6 on it, but one of them might pull out. It's also related to chickens, so.
We seem to have gone from pools to chickens.
Yeah, back in business with the chickens.
So, Pete, would you like to make your announcement? When will be your last meeting? Do you know right now?
No, I do not know, but to point out also with Judy potentially, the board the Board of Supervisors should be looking for new members for.
That's why I brought that up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Peter, we found you at the EAC. There's no one at the EAC who's got your so we thank you for giving us lead time, and we'll begin the hunt.
And Sue, all seriousness, if we could find an engineer, that would, like a civil engineer would be great.
Listen.
Environmental, civil.
For all of you watching at home, maybe, oh, he left the audience, maybe he was one. But yeah, no, I appreciate what Peter brings to the table, and as long as he gets all of his Patterson Farm work done before he goes, or continues it from West Virginia, North Virginia? North Virginia. It'll be fine.
I mean, I will participate with the board. I know that we did just have a member that moved that participated with this board for a while things were getting settled, but.
Can I have your free passes to the golf course if you're not going to be here?
Yes.
Don't shake your head, Sue. Don't shake your head.
We still have ours from last year. You want those?
I will
Are we
take
still
them.
getting passes to the golf course and the pool?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Oh, good.
All right. Does someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll
So moved.
I'll move that we adjourn until our next meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.